vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. It's a challenging time to be a black leader in America. Recently, my colleagues at Bloomberg Business Week brought together a group of prominent black executives to talk about how they're navigating the White House, rollbacks to DEI initiatives, and the current mood in America surrounding race. Jacob Walter Jr. is CEO at Blueprint Capital Advisors. He says he notices a pattern where things get tougher directly following a period of breakthrough.
Whether it was post-slavery, whether it was Reconstruction, whether it was Jim Crow, now I think we pay a little bit of a price for the advancements we've made more recently. When you really think about it, right? They've got reason to be worried in their mind. You've got more black senators than ever before. In my industry, you've got more black people running venture capital funds, private equity funds, private credit funds.
Walter Jr. referring to the groundswell of anti-DEI sentiment coming after a time when those same ideas saw lots of support in 2020. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Welcome to the program. Today is Monday,
April 27th, 2026. Look, I've heard all the conspiracy theories. I've heard all of the assumptions and all of the speculations and all of the paranoia. Everything you could possibly say about the very unusual, maybe not so unusual, turn of events at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I've heard it all. I've read all sorts of threads. I've even read the 1,000-plus word manifesto from the alleged shooter. And before I delve into the publicly available, I got to make this known to everyone. What I'm going to share with you today is not from some odd red pill Reddit thread. It's not from some Trump-hating, Trump derangement syndrome website or blog post. I'm just going to share with you publicly available information that anybody could access, and also the timeline of things and how, let's just say, they're very unusual. The way things transpired, and we have the full accounting of what took place on Saturday night, including an agent that was shot. Now, fortunately, that bullet was caught by the agent's bulletproof vest. They went to the hospital, and they have since been released, so no one was killed or seriously injured in this event. But it just raises a lot of questions. Now, I'm going to let you all come up with your own conclusions, and some of you have come up with your conclusions already. But keeping in mind the place in which we are starting from, there's not a lot of trust when it comes to this administration. And I think that we can at least somewhat agree on that. Even the very staunch pro-Donald Trump MAGA base is beginning to erode. Individuals like Tucker Carlson, who took some responsibility for Donald Trump getting elected not just the first time but the second time, has issued, whether it was sincere or not remains to be seen, a mea culpa, because he feels at least partially responsible for the situation that the country is in right now, including the Epstein Island scandal and the war that we find ourselves in with Iran. So there is some erosion. There are also people who are feeling the lack of affordability. And this current president said he was going to prioritize that. Gas prices have gone up. Food prices have gone up. Essentially, the cost of everything has gone up. But this is also a president that warned us that if Kamala Harris got elected, she would put us into a war with Iran, and she would be the reason why you couldn't afford to make an omelet because eggs would be too expensive if she happened to get elected. So I'm saying all of that to say this. There is not a lot of trust that this administration is going to be honest and straightforward with the American people. But this is not a unique situation when it comes to American presidents. We get lied to a lot because you can't really tell the American people the truth because it's going to hurt our feelings. If we knew how Congress actually performed their duties and some of the deals that have to get made, and yes, we work with terrorist governments and regimes, and yes, we do sell arms for hostages, and we do all sorts of sinister things that the American people should be none the wiser because, we'll judge. So I have a lot of information I want to get through, but at the end of the program, I hope that you'll be able to come to your own informed conclusion. Now, you guys know, if you've listened to this program before, you know where my political affiliations are. But I can be objective in talking about why I support one candidate over another or one political party over another. For me, it is rarely emotional. You're not going to hear me say, oh, I like this person, or I like this candidate, or I like this political party. That's why I'm going to vote for them. I need them to be able to produce, because we live in a city and therefore a state, a region, and a world where if meaningful policy is not put together, more and more people are going to suffer and more people are going to fall through the cracks. And ultimately, those people are going to be our responsibility because, for lack of a better term, we are a nation that is built up of many different connected communities. So my reasons for choosing one political party over another or a candidate over another is because they have the best shot, the most experienced, the best resume to actually produce something that is durable. Unlike whatever it is we are producing to fill the potholes. I disappeared for about 12 hours over the weekend because I fell in a pothole. I didn't know where I was. I was in China for a while. Delicious Mongolian beef. Well, I guess that'd be Mongolia. Oh, I've got so much stuff. Can I just start with something really basic? Because I feel like we're going to go on a flight today. Like, we're boarding an airline. We're boarding Sherwin Air, and it's a nonstop 3-hour flight. And by the time we arrive at our destination, a figurative flight, of course, I couldn't afford to take all of you on the same airplane. But by the time we land at 12 noon, we would have arrived, I hope, at a destination that fosters much more understanding about what actually happened. So I got a lot of information I'm going to share with you, the manifesto and the details. We also have a YouTube poll because I'm curious, and I'm not trying to push you in one direction or another. Some of you do believe that this was a real attempt on the 47th president's life. And then there are others of you that think that it was not. Like, the other attempts, like Butler, Pennsylvania. And then wasn't there a situation where they just found a dude just in the bushes? He didn't shoot, but they found a fella in the bushes. He didn't fire a weapon. And was there a third attempt on Trump's life? I want to say there was this the third or was this the second?
No, that was a fake one. I actually interviewed that guy.
The one where the guy was in the bushes with the gun?
Oh, no, the guy that
was on the roof?
No, it was another one. There was another one after that. So the guy, he was in California at the thing. Like, they said that he had a gun and all that stuff like that, but he had, told the people that he had a gun. It wasn't even an assassination attempt, but they tried to play it out like it was.
Because in all of the conversation that has been had over the weekend, I kept hearing them say, oh, this is the third attempt on the president's life. And I know that that's hyperbole. The fascinating thing about this, and there are many fascinating things, and remember, I'm going to provide for you all of the detailed information and everything that's publicly available. The media was in the room. And so when the media talked about what happened, they first victimized themselves. And so I've heard so much audio. I've seen so many clips. There was so much video that came out of that room. Nobody even heard the gunshot. Nobody heard it. Someone yelled, "Get down, there's a shooter." But when the shot actually went off, and here's the thing, it was just one shot, conveniently placed center mass of one of the Secret Service agents, and of course the vest caught that bullet. It was too convenient. March 30th, 1981. Guy by the name of John Hinckley Jr. shot then President Ronald Reagan. It was indeed a legitimate assassination attempt. In fact, if that bullet shot by John Hinckley Jr., who, if I'm not mistaken, is out of jail now, had that bullet been like a millimeter to the left or to the right, it would have, in fact, killed President Reagan. Where was that assassination attempt on March 30th, 1981? The Washington Hilton. Before I take my break, I just want to lay this groundwork here, and then I'm going to come back and give you some details. The Washington Hilton, where the president has the White House Correspondents' Dinners. It has been the host and the home of that event for the last 50 years. It is the most specifically hardened security target damn near on the planet because of an assassination attempt that took place 45 years ago. The fact that people didn't see the irony of that, because the president, the vice president, cabinet secretaries are oftentimes in attendance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, this is looked at as like a State of the Union level security event, because if something was to happen When you have all of these American elected officials and dignitaries in the same room at the same time, it impacts what we call the continuity of government. And I heard a couple of conspiracy theories saying that, if Trump would have been killed, then J.D. Vance would have been president. J.D. Vance was at the exact same table. So you know who wasn't there and who would have been president? Let's say something more catastrophic would have happened, because if the individual who I'm going to name on the other side, who's the alleged shooter, if he was able to get as close as he was and inside the building with the weapons and the artillery that he had, and he was able to check into the hotel, if I'm not mistaken, the day before, he could have brought a damn bomb. But you know who would have been president if something would have transpired? Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He was not in attendance. So I'm going to take a break, come back, talk about how one of the most hardened, secure facilities, the Washington Hilton Hotel, was penetrated by he's just a dude. And he wrote a manifesto that was sent 12 minutes before the shot was fired. How convenient. Typically, we don't get the manifesto until sometime after, and there's a large investigation, because when you release a manifesto immediately, like this one was, first of all, who the hell authenticated it? That's a whole nother series of questions. But it can trigger other attacks. That's why you don't release the manifesto if you even have a manifesto. And why do all these damn shooters have a manifesto? Let me script out what I'm going to do so you have clear motive and evidence. It just don't make no sense to me, but I'm going to let you come to that conclusion. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM in Milwaukee. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What up, Truth Nation? It's Kyle Wallace, and what a week it has been. I shared my story of racial discrimination at the McKinley Marina full-service gas dock, where I was denied service only to watch a white customer get helped immediately after me. But guess what? Part 2 gets even worse. What would you do if someone told you, I didn't call you the N-word, I called you a black fella? I'm going to talk about exactly that and how we responded and why Milwaukee County leadership allowed this to continue. Tune in to Truth to Power this Monday from 12 to 1 on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth as I share part 2.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
March 30th, 1981, 45 years ago, there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan's life at this exact same hotel, the Washington Hilton. And since then, there have been increased security protocols at this particular location because it is known to host many events in which the president, cabinet secretaries, national and international dignitaries are known to attend. So why all of a sudden... I'm just raising legitimate questions because I'm not trying to have y'all think that I'm not credible because I'm an anti-Trump person. I am an anti-Trump person, but there's reasons for it. It's not just because I don't like him. It's because he's a horrible human being. They have made sure that the Washington Hilton is a very, very difficult location for a bad actor to be able to penetrate. And the White House Correspondents' Center, it's interesting because Donald Trump, I believe this is the first one he has attended as president. He has attended others. I think he went to the one in 2016 when Barack Obama was president, but as president of the United States, I don't believe that Donald Trump has attended. So the first one that the 47th president actually attends is the one where there's an incident. First of all, I don't think he had his jokes written, because this is a time when the president pokes fun at the press and the press pokes fun at him. It's typically hosted by a roast comedian. It's a fun, feel-good night where all of the members of the media and the press, that it's their job to hold the president, his cabinet, his administration, and politicians accountable. It's a night where they all come together, eat really good food, get drunk, and probably have sex. Oh, by the way, Erica Kirk was there. Erica Kirk was with a guy named Lawrence Jones, who, and I'm not familiar with Lawrence Jones because apparently he is a Fox News anchor or commentator, whatever he is, but Erica Kirk attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Lawrence Jones, who is a big, robustly built, tall, strapping black African-American man who looks like he may have been descended from a field slave. And they were together, and then the picture was posted, and they took a picture together. You know, Erica Kirk, the widow of slain political firebrand Charlie Kirk. Erica Kirk, who was very sad when her husband Charlie was killed. Very sad. She's got little children that she's raising by herself. Charlie Kirk has been deceased for about 6 months, and then Erica was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with a black-ass date. Now listen, relax. She is entitled to... If you're a MAGA person, I don't know if anything would make you more angry than seeing your precious little victimized angel, Erica Kirk, and just imagine what they did. Now, they didn't leave together because Erica Kirk, of course, was ushered off with security because, you know, she's already experienced some tremendous trauma with the assassination of her husband. So she was ushered off with security, and her date, Lawrence Jones, was not with her when she exited. But I don't know what's hated more by Republicans and conservatives and Donald Trump supporters and MAGA people, just Democrats and progressives just writ large, or when a conservative white woman is involving herself with an African-American man. So I do want to dedicate some time to that because I find it just so ironic that the two of them would be seen together, let alone go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner together, because that's a star-studded event. As far as politics go, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is kind of like the Oscars. And who you go there with, it says a lot about you. We'll talk about that later. The White House often uses the Washington Hilton for many different events, hosting dignitaries, etc. But keeping in mind, Donald Trump wants to build his ballroom. And doesn't this make a lot of sense? Doesn't it just seem somewhat convenient that he never wanted to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner? I also am curious as to the president's mental acuity, and as an American and a member of this democracy and a member of this body politic and a member of the media. But let me divorce myself for a second from members of the media that on the Sunday morning talk shows talked about how scared they were. And oh my God, I'm so lucky I got out alive. Shut up. Shut up. You didn't even hear the gunshot. So many of them made it about them. Like, oh my God, my life flashed before my eyes. You were at the table drinking champagne. Nothing was flashing before your eyes except camera flashes because you were taking selfies. So because the Washington Hilton is known to be ultra secure because of the assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan, how do we not see the irony of that? At the same hotel 45 years ago, damn near to the day, somebody tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, so somebody probably thought, oh, this would be a perfect idea to make security more lax for this particular White House Correspondents' Dinner. You know, the first one the President of the United States is actually going to attend. Let's get lax on this security. Weeks before the event, an intelligence and matrix threat grid would be created. They would review open source threats, extremist chatter, stalkers, mentally unstable people, and foreign intel risks. Screen every single guest, list names and criminal, terror, restraining order, and threat databases. Social media monitoring for references to the venue. This is all the stuff that's done before the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I am at least a little bit familiar with dignitary protection because I have worked on presidential campaigns before. And so in the United States of America, when you become your party's nominee, you get Secret Service protection. And I have been at events where I had to submit my name and my social security number, and a background check has to be. So this actually happened. First president I ever met, don't judge me, was George W. Bush. I worked for a member of Congress at the time, and George W. Bush was going to be in the congressional district represented by the member of Congress that I work for. Well, the member of Congress that I worked for at the time, Tom Barrett, who went on to be mayor of the city of Milwaukee, was running for governor at the time, and he was not going to be in the district. So back then, I don't know if they've changed the rules and the protocols now, regardless of what the party affiliation is, if the president of the United States is going to be in your state or in your congressional district, that member of Congress is there to meet and to greet the president. But at the time, Tom Barrett was not going to come back from wherever he was outstate Wisconsin to greet and to meet George W. Bush when he came to Milwaukee on that visit. I was the designee, but prior to me being the designee to greet President Bush for being in, at the time, the 5th Congressional District, I had to submit all of my background information to the Secret Service. They then would return a yes or a no because they could find anything. This is not just your CCAP. They look at where you went to college. They'll interview people you went to school with. They'll do all sorts of things to determine, are you reasonable enough and credible enough and clean enough to even be in the room with the President of the United States? And this is back in 2002. And those protocols have not changed. If anything, they have probably gotten more strict and even more accurate. Without saying too much, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. There have been a number of, in the years that I've been broadcasting, which has been quite a few, whether it be here or at any other radio station, there have been a number of individuals. Damn, I'm going to get somebody in trouble by saying this. Okay, there's been a number of dignitaries that have visited and done on-air interviews with me that actually had Secret Service protection. And so what will happen is the Secret Service will reach out to the radio station, the owners and the management, and they'll want the information, the social security numbers and the names of all of the people that are going to be in the building, in the radio station that particular day. And if someone does not pass the background check, like you can have a felony for theft, and you cannot be in the vicinity of a president of the United States. That is how strict these background checks are. So meaning everybody at the Washington Hilton who checked in would have had their background completely looked at, because this is just normal protocol, because I've experienced this. But I have done interviews with dignitaries. It might have even been one here. It was certainly a couple of WNOV where certain employees they couldn't come to work that day because they couldn't be in the building when the dignitary was going to be in the studio with me. Social media monitoring for references to venue, timing, routes, weapons, and drones. These are all things that are done prior to any kind of event where the presidents and other American dignitaries are going to be in the same room. There's vendor vetting, all the caterers, the decorators, the audio visual crews, the florists, the valets, and the cleaners all have their backgrounds checked and approved by the Secret Service. This is a week before the White House Correspondents' Dinner even takes place. They identify who should not attend, ensure at least some line of succession officials remain elsewhere. So Mike Johnson, who's Speaker of the House, was not in attendance because if something happened to the president, the vice president, and any of the cabinet secretaries that were there, because cabinet secretaries are in what we call the line of succession. First line of succession is the vice president. Next line of succession is the Speaker of the House. Then after the Speaker of the House, certain cabinet-level secretaries will assume the presidency of the United States. So if you have people that are in the line of succession that are all in one room together, certain people cannot be in that room. They cannot attend no matter what, because if there was a catastrophic event and all of those individuals were incapacitated, we'd have to reserve somebody to be president of the United States. So Mike Johnson was not in attendance. So for those that think like, oh, they were trying to kill Trump, so J.D. Vance will be president. J.D. Vance was there too. And I don't think that MAGA would be happy with J.D. Vance. I don't think they want him. 24 to 48 hours before the full event, there is an entire site lockdown. The entire hotel would receive bomb dog sweeps, HVAC and mechanical room inspections, roof access control, parking garage inspection, sewer, loading dock checks by the Secret Service. The ballroom wall cavity and the backstage would all be swept. Elevator machine rooms would be inspected. There'd be a cyber sweep. Wi-Fi anomalies, rogue devices, suspicious hotel network traffic, camera system integrity. I'm not even nearly halfway through the list of all of the protocols that are and have been in existence whenever you have an event at the Washington Hilton or any place where you have individuals in the same room that impact the presidential line of succession. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not just an oops. I sound biased. Let me not say that. The street grid. They'd close the roads. They would install anti-ram barriers, dump trucks and heavy vehicles outside the venue. There would be snipers. There'd be traffic diversion. Protest zones would be separated by standoff distance. There'd be vehicle control. Only credentialed motorcades. Only media trucks would be pre-cleared. Emergency vehicles and staff shuttles, that is it. So you mean to tell me this dude just walked into the hotel with a shotgun and some handguns? He just walked in, just checked in? What I'm reading to you are things that are taking place 2 full days before the event, and this dude was able to just, hello, single bedroom with a king bed, please. Sir, what's in your bags? Nothing but a bunch of guns. Okay, go on up to your room. Here's your room key, 325. That's your room number. There would be separate lanes for the President of the United States and his party, the Vice President and his party, the cabinet, the press, and the staff. All hotel guests likely would be relocated to another location, or they would be heavily restricted. And you mean to tell me this dude was able to just sashay in? Cole Thomas Allen Thomas, Philip Michael Jackson, whatever his name is. The inner perimeter. Elevator control. They would lock the elevators. There'd be specific elevators that only the president could ride in. VIP movement only. Staff and service only. Those are specific elevators in the Hilton. So the president would, they have one, that's crazy. The president would have his own elevator because they have to make sure that it's secure, because you put a bomb in the elevator shaft and then boom. Stairwells would be alarmed. Guards would be posted on every level, and locked directional movement. Oh, here's the best part. Rooms overlooking the motorcade lanes or the ballroom approaches may be emptied, searched, sealed, or staffed. Hotels are notoriously hard to secure because of room density and vertical concealment, but the Washington Hilton Hotel has perfected these security measures. And it goes on and on and on and on. I'm maybe 3/4 of the way through the list of all the things that the Secret Service and the protocols. And this is stuff they have been doing for the last 50 years. And they tightened security even more because 45 years ago, almost to the day, there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan's life at this exact same hotel. And you mean to tell me that one dude was able to just walk on in with a bunch of guns? Take a break, come back. I'm going to read the manifesto and how it, and I don't know this guy. I don't know his writing style. I don't know if this is typical of how he explains things in the written form, but it's unusual. And the fact that he made remarks on the lax security and sent the manifesto roughly 12 minutes before the shot was fired. So how you'd think you'd be focused on your mission. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a mission where and I don't know what his mission was. I don't know specifically what the entirety of the motive was. I just know that the manifesto was released publicly very, very quickly, which is not typical because releasing a manifesto and we got to call this guy what he is. He's a shooter, mass shooter, potential presidential assassin. Releasing that manifesto would potentially trigger other dangerous security events. Manifestos are rarely released as quickly as this one was, and I'm just providing you all with publicly available facts. I'm going to read the manifesto on the other side, and I'll let you be the judge. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's a spring thing, Milwaukee. Join us Saturday, May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Embassy Center, MKE, 3725 North Sherman Boulevard. This free family community resource fair is for ages 0 to 100. Get free diapers, baby wipes, groceries, haircuts while supplies last. Don't miss baby food prep classes and powerful maternal health speakers, Bishop Walter Harvey and Dalvery Blackwell. Doors open at 10:30. Come early. It's a spring thing. Don't miss it.
Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
If oil gets to $90 a barrel, I'll be able to pay off my house. I think war is awful. It's terrible. It doesn't resolve things. It creates long-lasting hatred and even more conflict that the American people are always going to find themselves involved in.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
But if I don't have a mortgage, you know what I mean? You take the good with the bad. Didn't Donald Trump say he was going to end the wars? You can't have America first if you're involved in all these foreign wars. And there's people that believed him when he said that. He doesn't like wars. He said it many times. Said it on the campaign trail.
Catch it live on YouTube or tune in to 101.7 The Truth.
He's bombed just as much in his first year as any warmongering hawk president we've ever seen since World War II.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number, if you're so inclined, questions, comments, any information to add, is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Correction, Mike Johnson was in attendance. So there would have been nobody left to run the damn federal government had that place blown up. And with the lax security, and I'm putting that very, very lightly and diplomatically when I say it, it was worse than lax. It was almost intentional compared to what we have seen at every other event where you have that many dignitaries in one room, let alone the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Washington Hilton, where there was, in fact, at that same location, a presidential assassination attempt 45 years ago, almost to the day, when John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan. So Mike Johnson was in attendance, the president, the vice president, several cabinet level secretaries. Had something happen. And also, doesn't this tell enemies of the United States that when you have basically the American federal government control room all in one place, that security is weak? Do you know how other nations could take advantage of that lax security? None of that is making sense to me, because it's probably fair to assume. And maybe we can just look at one thing. We could look at previous attempts on the president's life, whether you figure they are real or credible, that Donald Trump is not popular. You can look at his polling numbers, because when polling numbers for a president and approval ratings go down, their threat risk actually goes up. It's a direct correlation. So considering there have been previous attempts on the president's life, whether you believe them or not, they have existed. His poll numbers are very low. A lot of people feel betrayed by him. His threat level is very, very high. And there's just a bunch of folks that just don't like the dude, you know? Bunch of people. His handling of the Epstein files, his participation in the Epstein files. Did you know that the word "don't" was scrubbed from the millions of pages of the Epstein files that had been released? And if you're reading them, it's weird, because where the word "do not" in somebody's conversation, in an email, in a transcript of a text message or a phone call, the word "don't" is removed, because they removed any references to Donald Trump in the Epstein files. His name appears so many times that "don't," which is spelled D-O-N-T, also could be short for Don Trump. That's how often he was in the Epstein files. I'm saying all that to say this. There's a lot of people that aren't really happy with this fella. And so why would the security protocols be so laxed and reduced when you have a really high threat level for the president and members of the cabinet, the vice president, and even the Speaker of the House? Essentially, the top three individuals that are the presidential line of succession were all in the room that night, and a dude was able to breach which should have been one of the tightest security perimeters. You guys were here during the RNC? And there weren't even, so when were they here? They were here, I was there when Trump got the nomination. I'd never seen anything like it. I took my press credentials and I tucked them in my shirt. You guys ever see the movie Friday? You know, when Debo comes around, you tuck in your chain? I didn't want the Trump faithful to see that I was credentialed media, because I felt unsafe. I didn't feel unsafe because I was black. I felt unsafe inside the security perimeter because I was a member of the media, and I know that Donald Trump had initiated a war against the media and the press, and so I would tuck in my credentials. Once I got past the area I needed to get past where I had to show my credentials, I would tuck them in. But they had, like, a square mile of downtown completely. They swept our cars. So I would get here early in the morning. I park I have to get through security. They make you open a trunk, and they open your hoodie, your car, and the dogs are sniffing. I'm like, I hope somebody didn't leave no weed ashes in my car. You know, I was nervous. So once you're in what we call the hard perimeter, so I was able to park my vehicle, walk to where we were broadcasting from, which was the UW Panther Arena. But let's say I had to leave. I had to leave the hard perimeter. And the president wasn't even there yet. President didn't come until maybe that Saturday when he accepted the nomination. Maybe he was there on Friday or Saturday. He was only in town maybe for a day. But the security that we had just for the convention, and you didn't have the same level. Like, you had members of Congress that were there, and a few people would fly in and out. A lot of media people were there mostly. But the security they had for that, I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. So I would do my broadcast. I come back to the 3rd Street Market Hall, which was inside the security perimeter. But if I had to leave and go home, even though, and then so every time your vehicle gets checked, they put a sticker on your windshield to say this vehicle is safe to be inside of the perimeter because they sweep your whole vehicle, right? Looking for bombs and whatever else. But if I had to leave to go home, maybe to change my clothes, whatever, or I was going to come back for events that were taking place inside the security zone, I had to do the exact same thing all over again. I had to wait in the security point check line. I had to sweep my vehicle, open the hood, open the trunk, even though I had just done it 3 or 4 hours prior to, and they would put another sticker on my vehicle. By the time the RNC was done, I probably had 7 or 8 stickers on my windshield that I couldn't even peel off. So I'm just giving you examples of how serious security is taken, and especially because we are in a war with a really tough and very sophisticated foreign adversary. They would like to exploit and take advantage of the fact that we have really lax security protecting the president, the vice president, the speaker of the House, and a lot of cabinet level secretaries. That is why none of this makes sense to me. Now, again, I'm not saying that this wasn't a legitimate breach, because there's a philosophy called Hanlon's razor. Never assume malice when stupidity can suffice. A lot of times when people do things, we think they're doing it because they're mean or they're angry or they're vindictive or they're trying to get back at you. You know, like when somebody makes what appears to be an unthinkable kind of error or some kind of crazy lapse in judgment, we think that they might be doing that intentionally or on purpose because they're mean-spirited people. Hanlon's razor says, no, don't always assume malice or maliciousness. Sometimes people are just effing stupid. And what I have found, because I used to think like, oh, all these people are just mean and they hate everybody and they hate everything. No, they're not. They're just dumb. There's so much. How dumb do they think that we are that there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan's life at the exact same hotel, and then 45 years later, there was one on Trump's life, maybe, potentially? Oh, I said I was going to read the manifesto, didn't I? Oh, darn. He starts by saying, I'll read a little bit of it. I'm going to take a break and come back and read the rest of it. He starts by saying, hello, everybody, with an exclamation point. That's how he starts his manifesto. Hello, everybody. It goes on to say, so I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for, quote, most wanted. It's like, dude is joking in this thing, if you believe he wrote it. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying that I had a personal emergency, in parentheses. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all of the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this, to all of those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, to all who may still suffer after, regardless of my success or failure. I'm going to put a pin in there, take a break, come back, and continue reading the manifesto of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter. Cole Thomas Allen is his name. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, tune in this week for your chance to win tickets to Tacos and Tequila Fest live from Franklin Field Saturday, May 30th with performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco, vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art, installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival Saturday, May 30th.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
From my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to Gruber Law Offices for taking such good care of us.
I would say thank you because you were so human and so much of a friend during the whole process.
I'm super grateful for them representing me and doing all that they did for me.
I would just say thank you for making me feel better.
That's why I'm here, to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Sweet Talk's Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Thomas Allen goes on to say in his manifesto, which he sent exactly 12 minutes before he fired the shot. He was a busy guy that night. He had a lot going on. He says, I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. Then he goes on to say, on to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. In parentheses, well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement, probably in a terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. I'm going to pause there just to add a little bit of editorial. To defeat the level of Secret Service protection that is typical for a White House correspondents' dinner at a hotel in which there was a real assassination attempt on a previous president's life, you would have to be military. Do you guys know how many just Joe Schmoes there are in Washington, D.C.? Have you ever been to D.C.? D.C. is not what you think. Once you're off of Pennsylvania Avenue and once you're not on the Washington Mall, D.C. is a dump. You'd think this is not a suitable place for the president to live. Quite honestly, because of the wealth that you need to have, you need to obtain, the amount of money that you are surrounded by to be leader of the free world, I think you should move the White House to Beverly Hills. I think that's more fitting. It is. Like, there's a historical context to being in Washington, D.C., but the original capital of the United States was Philly. Also a terrible choice. So I would suggest the White House should be evacuated and it'll be a museum. Just open the whole damn thing up so that people can take tours. But the real actual White House should be in Malibu on the beach, or maybe somewhere off the Florida coast. It should be a really wealthy, opulent. It should be like in Lake Tahoe or something. Because it is like a tribute to exceptional amounts of economic power and military power, I suppose. But I just think Washington, D.C. is maybe a long time ago. Because when D.C. was named the capital, you probably only had like 25 or 30 states. Now we have way more states to choose from. Where else could we put the White House? Because D.C. is not it. I'm really thinking somewhere out west. Tempe, Arizona, maybe? I don't know. Cole Thomas Allen goes on to say, I would go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary. In parentheses, he says, on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor, and thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. Rebuttals and objections, he says. Objection 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. His rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I'm not the person raped in a detention camp. I'm not the fisherman executed without a trial. I am not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. Follow the latest on the shooting at the White House correspondent. Did he really write that? Yes, he did. Follow the latest on the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner with a colon. The security loopholes that allow Cole Allen to get near the... Oh, no, this can't be. Is this really what he wrote? It is. The security loopholes that allowed Cole Allen to get near the White House Correspondents' Dinner as Trump says he proves... Oh, no, this is editorial. Objection 2. This is not a convenient time for you to do this. His rebuttal to his own objection. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple of minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and chance of success I could come up with. Objection 3. You didn't get them all. So he knew going into it he wouldn't get them all? His rebuttal to his own third objection is, gotta start somewhere. This doesn't even sound real to me. Objection 4, I'm going to read this one, I'm going to take a break. As a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. Rebuttal, I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. One more objection. Objection number 5. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. The United States of America are ruled by laws, not by any one or several people. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield to them anything so unlawfully ordered. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
28 years on the Packers.
I would flat out cut his ass to send a message.
37 years playing in the NFL.
This is the best win in the Matt LaFleur era.
87 years covering the Packers.
And that's what happened in the fourth quarter. That's all. He has been really good.
And 46 years of being on ESPN.
I said to Herman Edwards one time, it's hard to win a game in the NFL. He said, John, it's hard to make a first down.
There's no place with more experience when it comes to talking about the green and gold. All day, every day. We are 94.5 ESPN.
Come in with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today. Breathe better tomorrow.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Truth Nation, stand up and tap in. This is 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yikes, I think I'm in love again. This time I really need.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I am reading the manifesto of Cole Thomas Allen, who is the alleged shooter at this past weekend's White House Correspondents' Dinner. I am not personally rendering my judgment on whether it was a real or staged act, but you can render your judgment by voting in our YouTube poll. All you got to do is go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes or search 1017 The Truth. Hit subscribe. You'll be able to view the live video stream of the program, participate in our very lively YouTube chat, and also vote in our YouTube poll. We're asking you a very simple question. We don't got to get complicated with it. Based on what you know, what you understand, and all of the publicly available information, a lot of which I am sharing with you this morning, do you believe that that was a real or staged event? Some of you think that, oh, yes, it was a legitimate attempt. The reason why it's plausible on its face, if you just keep it very simple, Donald Trump is extremely unpopular with independents, with Democrats. Even with his own base, he is losing tremendous amounts of support. And when presidents rise in unpopularity and their unfavorable ratings rise, the threats on their lives escalate. Because keep in mind, there's a lot of guns in the United States of America. A lot of people have access to them. And some of the people that have access to firearms aren't exactly playing with the 52-card deck. So take all of that into consideration. Plus, political violence is a tool. It has been used since the beginning of time. You can just recall some of the American leaders, whether they be political or social, or those fighting for racial justice. They have been murdered. Many people have been injured. Think of the civil rights workers who have been injured by trying to do the horrible thing, like just trying to register individuals to vote. So political violence is very much a part of the American democracy, and so are assassination attempts. There's a guy that got assassinated that we never talk about. I think 3 American presidents have been assassinated, right? Lincoln, Kennedy, and then I think like Rutherford B. Hayes or some. And then there was an attempt on Teddy Roosevelt's life in Milwaukee. There was an attempt on Teddy Roosevelt's life giving a speech in Milwaukee. The bullet, he had a Bible in his pocket. I wonder if that was a false flag, too. The bullet, the would-be assassin shot Teddy Roosevelt in Milwaukee. The bullet hit the Bible that was in his breast pocket, saved his life, and then if I'm not mistaken, he went on to like give a speech. He said there's 4. So you got Kennedy, Lincoln, Rutherford B. Is Rutherford B. Hayes one of them?
No, the other 2 are James A. Garfield, 1881, and William McKinley in 1901.
I'll be dipped. Nobody even talks about them fellas. Poor fellas. That sucks for them.
Well, they're bad presidents.
Do you think we've had any good ones?
Joe Biden was pretty good.
Wow, I think
Barack
you'd
was
say
pretty
him.
good.
Okay. What makes a good president for you? I got to get back to reading this manifesto, but we're taking a little pause here. So what makes a good president, you think?
Just passing some, things that help the people, some bills. Like, Joe did the infrastructure bill. He
still got potholes, though. Still got lead pipes.
Oh, yeah, but you see they're tearing down all the bridges and stuff like that, rebuilding them and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like the potholes, that's more of a local issue. He's more dealing with the infrastructure and, highways and stuff like that, right?
All right.
Barack Obama, the ACA.
Okay. Fair enough.
The reason why my mom's still alive.
Oh, that's very important.
Yeah.
All right. If you look at the American presidency objectively, which most Americans can't, because we love, we despise, or we hate political parties and people that join those political parties. If you look at it objectively, it is the executive branch of government with an elected president, elected by the people in the Electoral College, is the tip of the imperialism spear. You will carry out the wants, desires, and wishes of America's manifest destiny to produce profit. And no matter who the person is, the institution doesn't change much because it's solidified in the Constitution. And what Donald Trump has done is he has said, okay, so all these details in the job description of the presidency is in the Constitution. Trump basically said, well, what if I break them? What are you going to do? And the answer is nothing. So the office has not changed since the Constitution was ratified in the first Constitutional Convention between 1789 and 1791. So the office has not changed. The people have. The sentiments of the nation have changed. Who can vote and participate in democracy, all of that has changed, but the office has not. Now, we may have liked Barack Obama. We may have liked Joe Biden. I thought the Kennedy was really great. I loved John F. Kennedy. I loved his story. I loved that he was a little bit gangster. He had a beautiful wife and beautiful children. Some of his brothers was crazy. That's all right, though. It's fine. Some of his nieces and nephews were nuts. A lot of Kennedys died. There's kind of a Kennedy curse, but neither here nor there. I liked that he was humping Marilyn Monroe, because come on, why not? Jackie knew. What's Jackie going to do? Back then, women were just... And Jacqueline Bouvier was so poised. She was so elegant. They called that the days of Camelot. And even the way she talked, she was a real aristocrat. Oh, Jonathan, why must you have so many hoes? Well, fine. If you're going to have this many hoes, please keep it away from the prying eyes of the press, dear Jonathan. Well, look here, Jackie. It comes with the office. Ask not what your hoes can do for you, but what you can do for your hoes. What, too soon? Guy's been dead for 60-something.
You asking me if it's too soon?
Yeah, people look at me funny. Really, nobody looks at me funny. It's just you looking at me. But I don't know how other people listening to my program interpret what I'm saying. I come to find out that there are people riding around in this city in an Uber, in a Lyft, and my show is playing. Shout out to all of you people that are in Ubers and Lyfts.
Imagine when Al comes on and you have a ride in the car. I wonder how that feels. Do they change the station?
Yeah. Sometimes. So Al is polarizing. But for the people who listen to 1017 The Truth in our many forms, podcasts available everywhere, the faithful like him. The occasional or first-time user, totally shocked by him. Because I can watch the fluctuation in our viewership when certain people call, right? And so when Al is on, those viewers want to hear Al. They do. And then there's some people like, oh, Al is not for me. He's not my cup of tea. I'll come back when Al is done giving his soliloquy. But we did a trial for Al. In fact, we had a public on-air trial to see if Al should be permanently banned from 1017 The Truth. And he actually had a defense. He had 2 callers that acted at his defense. He also had 2 individuals that were acting as his prosecution. And we allowed the listeners of this program to cast votes via our text message line, and Al won overwhelmingly because there have been many, many attempts to throw dude off the air like permanently, and he's been banned a lot. He's been suspended more than a Milwaukee Public Schools kid.
Really? I'm surprised.
God, holy smokes, yeah. So management here at 1017 The Truth has changed, and the tolerances of the different managers fluctuate. There's some that just never tolerated Al at all. They're like, oh, he can't call, and he's banned for a month. But what's crazy is Al would get banned for a month, but the day his ban was up, he'd be the first call. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a nice day. And he would just go on like nothing ever happened.
I'm assuming the current management doesn't mind then.
Say it again?
I'm assuming the current management doesn't mind.
I don't know. I just do stuff until I'm told I can't do it. Because the thing about talk radio in this day and age, because people can get their information so many different ways. Like, I'm not competing against other radio hosts. I'm competing against TikTok. I'm competing against Threads, which my post on Threads went viral, and it scared me because I usually don't pay attention to Threads because it's just one more social media that I don't need. But when I posted that picture of Lawrence Jones and Erica Kirk at a White House Correspondents' Dinner VIP cocktail party. So there's a bit of a mistake. It's not the 2 of them at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. She was not with him at that. There was a VIP cocktail reception in which Lawrence Jones, who was an African, a handsome fella, tall and strapping.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
He's a good-looking guy.
He is, with Erica Kirk, who's just a little blonde princess.
I know, right? Nothing better for them to have some mixed babies, right?
I bet you they play field slave running away, escaping the big house.
Why do you say that?
Because that would be funny.
Sounds like you play
I
that.
sure this finna get you. Oh no, big buck. No. That's offensive. That right there, what I just said. That was offensive.
You think so?
Oh my God, yeah. Terribly. Because they don't know. If y'all had any, and I don't necessarily want to be the one to give you guys this information. Like, I provide information, and a lot of times people get angry because I'm the one that's telling them. If they heard it from like a family member or a more like trusted individual, because some people don't trust me because, I'm a member of the media, I'm black, they think I'm politically biased, whatever. And so when I tell people shocking information, they get even more angry because it's coming from me. The way a good number of ultra right-wing, super Christian, conservative women thirstfully lust after black men will blow your mind because they rebel against all of that because it's so repressive. You can't have a world in which women have rights and have equality. A woman can do whatever she wants and go wherever she wants, and she is protected in doing so. So trying to keep her in this traditional bubble. And some women will act out the facade of being a traditional wife so they can get the protection and they can get the husband that takes care of them, etc. It's a role that you play. You're an actress and you play your part. You win the Oscar, which is a fat wedding ring, a bunch of vacations, money in the bank, and a prenup that's in your favor. But then there's her carnal and internal desires, because a man that is offering all of that comfort and financial security might not be hitting them walls.
That makes sense to me.
A woman who has everything financially, the house, the kids, the car, the bank account, all the things, will throw it all away for a chance to just get absolutely cracked.
Well, most of the time, the husband's okay with it, too.
Not all the time. Well, if the husband is black, then no. Because I watched this whole, I don't even know if I want to call it a documentary. There's just so much content available about any subject on planet Earth. So white men that date black women exclusively have been so excommunicated. Like, white women have excommunicated those white men from the white community. And then when those white men pursue, marry, whatever, black women pedestalize white men because they think that being with, and I'm generalizing here, I'm making a bunch of people mad, but whatever the case may be. But you know how extremely rare it is for a white man to forsake his entire family, his entire lineage? Because at the end of the day, white men want their kids to look like them. Want their kids to look like their fathers and their mothers and their grandparents. It's something really unique that excommunicates, I'm talking about white men now specifically, that excommunicates white men from white women. There's something dangerous and unneeded, unwanted, and unhealthy about that white man to where white women no longer want him. And then he goes and gets a black woman, which makes sense because some black women will pedestalize having a white husband, having a white boyfriend, because they think it comes with the benefits, the privileges, and access to money and power. But what happens is a lot of times those black women who pedestalize white men because they think they're going to get closer to power and be much more protected are taking care of white men that are drunks, that are drug addicts, and that have been excommunicated from their families. And then the black women will lie for those white men. Oh, no, my husband is great and he doesn't. And I know several, because Milwaukee is small. Black woman thought she landed her a big fish. He was a drunk that couldn't keep a job. It's crazy. It's probably not what you guys tuned in to hear. Objection number 5, yield unto Caesar what is, in fact, Caesar's. Cole Thomas Allen, the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, released a manifesto 12 minutes before he went on his single-shot rampage. His rebuttal in his manifesto says the United States of America are ruled by law, not by any one or several people. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield from them anything so unlawfully ordered. He goes on to say, I would also like to extend my appreciation to a great many people, since I will not likely be able to talk with them again unless the Secret Service is astoundingly, with 2 little stars around astoundingly, incompetent. Let me keep going, because there's some mentions of the Secret Service and how lax security is. That how would he know how lax the Secret Service is? Because if you just do like a Google search on dignitary protection, especially at like a national security level event where you have the presidential line of succession under one roof, the security protocols are, when I say overdone, that is a gross understatement. Some of these security protocols start a week or more before the actual event, and how this dude was able to check into the hotel and just walk right up to, how close he got to the ballroom should have never happened. Ever. So he knew some kind of way, I don't know how, that security would be lax enough for him to get as close to the ballroom as he actually got. Because I'd imagine you got to do some research if you're trying to commit whatever his act was he ultimately wanted to commit. You'd want to research, okay, well, what was security like at the previous White House Correspondents' Dinners? I maybe got through 3/4 of the list earlier in the show. It is some of them, like the president only has one elevator and everybody is vetted and only certain caterers and only certain people that park the cars are allowed. And they lock everything down. They've got dumpsters and garbage trucks and barriers so that cars can't drive into the building. The security is extraordinary. And the fact that I'm sure he probably did some research to figure out, okay, what did they do at previous White House Correspondents' dinners? And the fact that he knew the security was going to be this lax, just something about that just doesn't seem commonsensical. And this is something, these dinners are things that the Secret Service has got 50 years of practice protecting. Keeping in mind, 45 years ago, almost to the day, there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan's life. That was March 30th, 1981. And guess where that was? At the damn Washington Hilton. So you mean to tell me that they're going to have even weaker and more lax security 45 years after there was an assassination attempt on a president's life at the same hotel? You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM in Milwaukee. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
What up, Truth Nation? It's Kyle Wallace, and what a week it has been. I shared my story of racial discrimination at the McKinley Marina full-service gas dock, where I was denied service only to watch a white customer get helped immediately after me. But guess what? Part 2 gets even worse. What would you do if someone told you, I didn't call you the N-word, I called you a black fella? I'm going to talk about exactly that and how we responded and why Milwaukee County leadership allowed this to continue. Tune in to Truth to Power this Monday from 12 to 1 on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth as I share part 2.
Don't miss one of Milwaukee's favorite summer traditions, the U-Path Ride for Arts, presented by Miller Lite, returns Sunday, May 31st. Ride a fully closed 20-mile course across the Hone Bridge with incredible lakefront views. Kids 12 and under ride free thanks to the Brewers Community Foundation. All in support of Southeastern Wisconsin Performing Arts. 7 a.m. start, finish at U-Path Fest on Summerfest grounds. Register today at upathride.org. That's upathride.org.
Hungry for something fresh and delicious? Get your favorites from Cousin Subs delivered straight to your door. From our freshly baked bread and hand-sliced meats and cheeses to our famous sides, crispy golden fries, Wisconsin cheese curds, or creamy mac and cheese. Every meal made to order and ready to enjoy. Ordering is quick and easy online or through the Cousins app, whether it's a solo lunch, family dinner, or a spread for the whole crew. Let us bring it straight to you, fast and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
When your team needs custom gear, don't wing it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and More is your local partner for high-quality apparel with hands-on design help and services that actually feel, well, helpful. For your business, teams, or events, Big Frog makes it easy. Visit bigfrog.com/Mequon today.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Not too much to make it move. And try to lock me, try to take away the jewels. You cannot stop it, gotta understand the rules. I've been the type to wear the heart on my sleeve. Been the one to always choose the wrong flame. Not the type to ever see me lonely. I keep my socks on during loving. In and out, baby, in and out, cafe. If I ever fall again.
833-212 1017-833-212-1017. We're just going through the publicly available information regarding the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting because we don't want something like this to happen again. Even though something like this might happen again, the frequency with this president. So first of all, it's plausible. And I'm going to say it's plausible because he's very unpopular. He's always been unpopular with a segment of America. And I think that America's left, the left side of the political spectrum, is moving even further to the left. And that is normal and is to be expected when far right-wing policies, which we have had versions of since 2016, a new kind of far right-wing policy, especially when it comes to immigration and immigration reform or lack thereof, that in and of itself can move the left even further to the left because they want to distance themselves from these policies that they may consider reactionary. But you have to keep in mind, when you move really far to the left, just even a small segment of the American population that is embracing more left-leaning policies, the far left are revolutionaries too. They have guns as well, just like the far right. You guys remember the tragedy that took place in 2016 in Charlottesville, Virginia? There was a very far-right extremist group of people, a big mob of folks that were protesting the either display of the Confederate monuments, but then the reactionary right, they were there wanting to maintain the Confederate monuments, and a woman named Heather Heyer was killed. So both sides on the extremes use political violence. And if America is moving further to the left to distance itself from anything related to Donald Trump, then you can get more extremist kinds of actions and behaviors. Let's talk to Blake. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm good, Sherwin. How you doing, young man?
Good, man. It was good to see you on Saturday night.
Same here. Good to see you out. When you sat down and you put your arms out on the chair and relaxed, my man was finna tap you on your shoulder like, hey. I said, don't do that, dude. He's like, what you mean? I said, he can't sit there. He can't just. I said, listen. I said, he has his tag on, and that's Sherwin Hughes from the radio. Leave him alone. I did 27 years there. It wasn't like they was going to like boss you and make you move, but I didn't want nobody to bother you, man. How'd you enjoy your night?
Wait, hang on a second. Because I didn't know, this must have been going on behind me.
Yeah. Because right where you sit is center stage. That used to be my spot behind you. The security guard behind you, that's his spot. But they're young kids now. They're not big, burly, beastie guys like us. You know what I'm saying? They just bodies. So dude was standing behind you in the black with the hood on, and he was going to come tap you. And I'm like, no, leave him alone. Dude got his pass. That's his spot. If that's his seat, that's his section. Like when all night you was there by yourself, right? Yeah. And then when I came back, you was with a lady and somebody else.
Were there that were
mingling
about.
So that next time you go, so every time you want to do something there, you do the same thing you did. Besides your credentials, you get that box. That's your spot. And you can't do that in the rave, but you can do that in the Eagles ballroom. So when he was going to tap you, I was like, leave dude alone. If he's there, he's there for a reason. And I seen, I'm like, that's Sherwin. Leave dude alone. He'll be on the radio. But little dude been there like 10 years. I've been there 27 years. My little cousin worked there now. And then he was like, I ain't seen him in never. I've seen Tech 9 at least 15 times. I've seen like 27 George Clinton concerts. I've been with everybody down there. And they put me head stage or like when Ice Cube came or when like Cal was there last night. Didn't know that. But now I know his people, but he didn't want nobody to know he was coming.
Yeah,
but
nobody
I was so proud
knew.
of him to be there. I called Atlanta like, dude, Cal on the stage. He's like, whoa. I'm like, man, I thought it was Richie Rich, but it was Cal. So I'm glad you had a good night. That's where I've been for 27 years. And just to see you relaxing all night, and then your people came, and I was over there in my corner doing my thing. I'm just glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was great.
That's like, yeah, I've been there 27 years, man. The stuff I've seen there is amazing. But on the thing with the security and stuff with that, man, and what I've learned, that and then by being real, like even when dude got, I mean, no shade on nobody, when the young man got killed, and then the shooting, and then the guy in the bushes, it all looks predatorial but staged. When you have people like that, man, like it's people on the other side that don't like us, that'll do anything to anybody that's underage. And like they got Uncle Charlie and them chained up in the basement with the overalls on. Like, yeah, let's go get them. Either it be a hang them or string them up. Go to the DeSable Museum in Chicago and look at them books and look at them chains and look at all the stuff they put us through. I had to get past that. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu taught me how to calm my nerves about how ignorance and racism is. Last night was a fish pool, a fish bowl with a shark looking at it. Dude was a shark. His family didn't call. They could have stopped it, but security was weak. And everybody keep talking. I promise you, I don't mean no harm to no armed guards or servicemen or women. That was real, y'all. And I know y'all been through trauma. I've been shot 4 times and been through stuff in the hood, but we got caught with our coat slipping. And like I said, the rules will be here. So it's good to see you. I'm glad you know who I am, and I appreciate you, Sherwin.
All right, thank you, Blake. Appreciate you, too.
Love, big homie.
All right, then, Blake. First of all, when I was at the show at the rave, Blake is like 7 feet tall. Because I heard him in a distance. I'm like, oh, I recognize that voice. That's Blake. In fact, there was a bunch of folks that were at the E40 Tech 9 show on Saturday night. Antoine Perkins from PWD Computers. Go check him out. Go buy a computer from Antoine on 39th and Valide. He's got new computers and used computers. He'll build you a computer. He even does security systems. Go see Antoine. He was there. And then I saw Blake, and I don't think I'd ever seen him before in person. He's 47 feet tall. He doesn't sound like he's 47 feet tall. I was like, oh, you're a tall fella. No, it was a great show. In fact, that was probably one of my top 5 favorite shows I've ever seen at the rave. And I've been going to the rave to see shows since I was in high school. So that was Cuckoo Cal came out and did a song. His song, My Projects. E40 brought Cuckoo Cal out. We haven't seen Cal, and I can't tell you how long. And he sounded fantastic. Yeah, it was a great show. Tech 9 performed for 2 hours. So they do these things at Tech 9 shows that I was entirely unaware of because this was my first time seeing him. Women take off their undergarments and throw them on stage in mass. Okay? And this is just a part of the show. And all of a sudden, so he takes a little intermission between songs, and these bras, some of them were huge. Some of the bras that were thrown on stage were so big that some of those women had to have been tripping over their own breasts walking out. So they throw bras on stage, and what he says is, we take, and women obviously like Tech 9. He said, we take these bras, we get them professionally cleaned, and we provide them to women in domestic violence shelters who have to leave with just the clothes on their backs. And I'm thinking, some of the bras that were thrown some were bedazzled, some were see-through. I was like, I guess some of the women that will be receiving these repurposed brasiers are going to be very sexy. But then panties started flying. I'm like, do you wash the panties too and give away the panties? But no, it was a great show. We had a good time. It was good time. And I'm sitting, because I got a box when I go to shows at the rave. And I'm just me and my people, and we don't want to be bothered with nobody. But then there's always people that are trying to get in our box, and you got to argue with people. But good to know Blake had my back. Blake was protecting me. According to Fox News reporter Aisha Hansey, the husband of Caroline Levitt told her, quote, "You need to be very safe tonight." As the 2026 White House Correspondents' Dinner was starting, Hansey reported that he made the comments seriously while looking around the room shortly before the shots were heard at the event. Now, I'm not saying that he knew the husband of the White House press secretary, Caroline Levitt, but don't you find it a little unusual that a Fox News reporter was warned or told that she needs to be safe? So let me get this part out the way, and then we're going to take a break, come back, and am I still reading the damn manifesto? It's basically stupid. You guys can go read the rest of it if you want. It's all plastered over the internet. So there is a particular country that is known to use real or contrived emergencies, national security threats, and assassination attempts to take political issues and make them more emotional. There's a country that is known for doing this. In fact, they have perfected it. And so I just want to draw a correlation. I am not saying that this is what the United States is currently doing or that we, the United States, are following the lead of another nation that is known to use assassinations and assassination attempts, bombings and bomb threats to change the trajectory of a candidate's sentiment. Let me give you an example. Let's say the economy is really bad, inflation is high, unemployment is going up, prices are going up, fuel prices are going up, and there's a real sense of unease and uncertainty amongst the public or the population of a nation. And then the public begins to take their frustrations out on a president or on a particular political party, especially the party that is in control. What this particular nation will do is those are all political issues, right? Bad policy is hurting the consumers in that country, and gas prices are up, and wages are too low, and health care is too expensive. What this nation will do is they will fake or stage an assassination attempt or some other major threat to get people to focus less on those political and economic issues and more on the emotional issues. Because whenever there is an attempt on someone's life, whether real or staged, or an attempted assassination, whether real or staged, people engender a sense of patriotism because they can say, oh, we don't like the direction of the country, but, oh, we don't want our president or our leader to get killed. And the nation then has perfected using those terror tactics and assassination attempts, either real or contrived, to shift the narrative away from a failing president who's got bad policies into an emotional, patriotic issue is Russia. I'm going to take a break and come back. I'm going to give you examples of how Russia has used fake assassination attempts to change political sentiment on behalf of candidates that ultimately would lose elections. And I'm not saying the United States is following a Russian playbook, but since Donald Trump has come to power, there have just been too many connections to Russia and Vladimir Putin to ignore. So I'm going to provide you this information on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Be back in a couple of minutes.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
A song about opening someone up, a feeding their moment joy. A song about opening.
There's credible, documented examples showing that Russian and Soviet security services like the KGB, the FSB, and the SVR used political violence, assassination narratives, false flag terror, and emotional shock events to manipulate public sentiment and elections. The core tactic is very consistent. Move voters from rational concerns like the economy or corruption or governance into fear, patriotism, security, revenge, and sympathy. There is substantial evidence that Russian state actors have repeatedly used political playbooks involving manufactured threats or suspected false flag attacks. 2, assassination attempts, real or staged, as emotional catalyst. 3, propaganda amplifying danger and victimhood. 4, using, quote, security crisis narratives to rescue weakened incumbents. And 5, election fraud layered on top of psychological operations. That's what's that. Isn't that what's, doesn't that sound kind of familiar? In 2026, Hungary, Russian intelligence allegedly proposed a fake assassination attempt on Viktor Orban. The most direct modern example is in March of 2026 and a report by the Washington Post. According to an internal Russian intelligence document authenticated by a European intelligence service, operatives in Russia's secret police proposed staging an assassination attempt on Orban because his polling numbers were slipping before Hungary's parliamentary election. Viktor Orban ultimately lost that election and the assassination attempt was not staged. But do you see what we're getting at here? When there's an assassination attempt like there was in July of 2024, we didn't know what was going to happen with the presidential election of 2024, but it seemed like Kamala Harris was making a little bit of progress. She has selected Tim Walz to be her running mate. Hindsight being 2020, not sure if that was the best choice, but we did know this. There was a growing number of voters that were increasingly concerned with Donald Trump and his policies going back to his first term, let alone what he was campaigning on. And we didn't know what was going to happen on election night. And if Donald Trump was within the margin of error, because I think the polls may have showed some fluctuation. Now, depends on when, depends on what the issues were of the day, depends on what the hell Joe Biden was doing. Kamala Harris's numbers in that poll, in those series of polls leading up to the November 2024 election, showed that she had a shot. Now, she ultimately didn't win. But what if you want to take away the policy aspect of it? Because Americans would rather not focus on policy. If you focus on policy, for us, it feels like homework. We want to feel emotional. That's why Kamala Harris, who does she have on stage with her? Beyonce. But Beyonce didn't perform. A lot of people got mad at that. And then she had Megan Thee Stallion. Didn't she, Megan Thee Stallion, perform at a Kamala Harris rally? Isn't Megan Thee Stallion the lady that just got cheated on this weekend? Everybody's freaking out about it. I think that's...
Yeah, with Clay Thompson.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody's shocked by that.
Well, yeah, he's a dude worth $300 million.
I always raise an eyebrow at the narrative where women say stuff like, but she's so pretty. How could she get cheated on? Easy. Looks don't protect you. Why do women still think that? Today may not be the day for it, but I have do I got a doozy for y'all.
Well, they think they're the prize.
Women are covertly competitive against one another. Like pretty women. Let a pretty woman tell you how rough her life has been at the hands of other women. How she's been bullied, she's been ostracized. We think that she gets like more invites to things than she actually gets. Sometimes people just assume that really attractive women already get enough attention. They get invites to parties and they get asked out on dates a lot. Really super pretty women, often some of the most lonely women ever. But get this, there's an actual study that was done where if a hairdresser believes that her client is more attractive than she is, and you got to follow me on this now. If a hairdresser believes that her client, the woman whose hair she's about to cut, is prettier than the hairdresser will encourage the woman to get a shorter haircut. And she does it to be covertly poisonous to that woman's good looks. And then so the study was done, and then the results of the study was posted, and the number of women that chimed in that said, I loved my hairdresser. I've been going to her for years. I trusted her. I had hair that went down to my butt. She cut it to above my ears. She was like, I've never been the same. Another woman, my hairdresser intentionally messed my hair up. That is crazy work. But that also shows how vindictive women can absolutely be. See, here with men, we just kill each other. Or we fight and we're friends. There's another study that showed as early as kindergarten, little girls in kindergarten and first grade, engage in isolating other girls, in bullying other girls, being mean to other girls, excluding other girls, and galvanizing support to hate a particular little girl as early as 5 years old. Women learn this very, very early. Such fascinating stuff. So is it possible for Megan Thee Stallion to get cheated on? Of course it is. By a woman who probably didn't like Megan Thee Stallion anyway because she was jealous. But being pretty is not any kind of a shield or does not make a man become faithful, because I don't care how pretty a woman is. Somebody somewhere is sick of her mess. You know? Pretty. Everybody's pretty. Pretty is the default setting now, especially in some of your photos on Tinder and Hinge. Everybody's beautiful. Every woman is absolutely perfect. Hair perfect, makeup perfect. I got catfished once. More than once.
Ooh, do tell. What's the worst one? We're all on our edge to our seats.
You know, back in the day, there was no digital cameras when we first started meeting people on the internet. People would describe how they look. Impossible. You can't describe the curvature of a nose or the shape of somebody's eyes or their teeth or their smile. People are notorious at doing a poor job of describing themselves with words, how they actually physically look. It's impossible to do. You can give height, weight, hair color, eye color, basic stats, but you can't describe how somebody looks. Imagine meeting somebody who you have no idea what they look like. And when you meet them in person, you know how you would describe yourself? You would describe yourself, oh, you can find me because I'll be wearing a red shirt. Or you would describe your clothing. I had this lady, I met her at this bar called Howard's on County Line Road. This was in the 90s. She told me she was Italian. I was like, hey. And she described herself as a curvaceous Italian woman. Now, Italians are white. Now, some Italians may not think so. So when she described how she looked, I was like, cool. She lived in Mequon. I was in undergrad. I was living with my parents at the time, my last year of undergrad. And so Howard's was very close to where she lived and very close to where I lived. Plus, I knew the people that owned and worked at Howard's. Real safe space for me to meet an internet stranger, right? She said that she's going to be sitting at the bar. So if she got there before me, she's going to be sitting at the bar. I think she told me what she was wearing. I walked in, and there was someone sitting in the seat she said she was going to be sitting in, wearing what she said she was going to be wearing. Now, I remember she told me that she was Italian. Xavier, this girl was blacker than Shaka Zulu. I said, wait, hang on. Wait a minute. You got to make this reasonable now. You can't say you're Italian and you blacker than me.
There's black people in Italy.
She wasn't. She was from 27 Fond du Lac. No. Incorrect. So I got catfished before. And I'm looking at her, and she looked at me. She just kind of shrugged her shoulders. I was like, yeah, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, might as well.
Was she at least attractive?
No, not really. Not. I just couldn't get over the fact. I'm like, of all the things you could have selected, you were. Why Italian? You know what I mean? But yeah, okay, let's take a break, come back. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be back shortly.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I need to let you know the award-winning Tory Lowe Show can now be streamed live on YouTube. How? Every day from 1 to 4. Truth Nation, I am now bringing all the smoke on YouTube every single weekday. Hey, how? I need you to go to YouTube right now and subscribe to 101.7 The Truth and check out the award-winning Tory Lowe Show live every afternoon. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
Now that's powerful. You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Locked and Lovely says, lots of black women pedestalize the attainment of a white husband. It is so real. A lot of black women who marry white men think they've accomplished the Nobel Prize, even if their husband is a racist. I'll speak from experience. A lot of people, dating interracially does not mean that the person who you are dating that is not of your race is not also racist. And don't believe for a second, I want to couch this in a way where it makes sense. Fellas, you ever date a woman, and I'm using this as an example because I'm a man, there are men listening, and hopefully men can relate to this, where the woman you're dating all of a sudden loves all of your hobbies? Like the last dude she dated watched football, so did she. The last dude she dated was a New York Jets fan, so was she. She bought the pink Jets jersey and the matching hat, the sweater, the hoodie. She's dating you now. You're a Packer fan, so is she. She's got the pink Packer jersey, the matching hat, the winter scarf, the hoodie, the sweatpants. If you are dating someone and your culture or your racial affinity group becomes their hobby, that's insane to me. If I date a woman that is not black, I don't want her to be like, oh my God, Sherwin, did you know that Harriet Tubman freed a lot of slaves? Sherwin, did you know that you very much are entitled to reparations? I don't want to have civil rights discussions with her. If we believe that someone has to be like a historian on your race or your culture because they are dating you, that's insane. In fact, those are uncomfortable conversations. I would like to think that if somebody is dating somebody else from a different background, assuming they're not of the same race, same culture, even the same religion, there are things that bind them together that supersede the race, the culture, and the religion that would keep them otherwise apart. So there are things that invariably would separate people. Country of origin, income, education. You would think that those people would never have anything in common. They would never talk to each other. They would never find each other attractive. You would think, just based on what you would see on paper. But what actually draws them together are not any of those things that would on paper keep them totally and completely separate. I'm going to tell you this much. Chemistry is an MF. I was out my birthday weekend, March 6th, whenever that weekend was, I think my birthday was on a weekend. I met the wrong woman completely. For all intents and purposes, she was just the wrong one. I can't stop thinking about her. She was the wrong one. I couldn't date her. I couldn't be involved with her. No, but man, I can't. Chemistry is something else. It's almost like chemistry chooses you. You don't choose it. I want y'all to hold that thought. I'm going to take a little pause for the cause. We're going to pick it back up for hour 3 in a couple minutes. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley?
This is she.
Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Going to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
I got money now.
Truth Nation is the best fan base in the country.
I won tickets last week on your show to see The Wiz. I just wanted to call and say thank you and say I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. I appreciate the station. That was a core memory that was made last night. The Wiz was an amazing performance.
We want you to tap into the talk and text line every show, every day at 833-212-1017. Milwaukee Black Talk, 1017 The Truth.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
My name is Emma. I am 13 years old. 6 years ago, I was injured in a car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down. Once I completed rehab, my mom applied for a canine companion service dog. Last January, I finally got to meet my service dog, Marcia. We quickly developed a very strong bond. Together, we go to my horseback riding lessons, school band practice, swim meets, and archery classes. Together, we pick vegetables, and we like to cut flowers. I love Marcia. She makes me feel like together we can do anything. I can't imagine life without her. She's a part of the family. We are just one of the thousands of teams Canine Companions has paired together over the past 50 years. With your help, we can continue for another 50. Visit canine.org to see the many ways you can change lives.
Milwaukee's Black Talk lives here. You are listening to 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sherwin speak facts, let the real talk begin. Mind like a weapon, every word cut clean. Your host's favorite host, the mic God supreme. No one match the brain, no one match the vibe. Milwaukee truth teller, yeah, we feel that pride. When the people need sense, he the one they call. Sherwin Hughes on the line, that's power, y'all. He the voice of the people, heart of the town. Every take heavy, he ain't messing around. No fluff, no gimmicks, no tap dance show. He dropped 10 years game in a 4-minute flow. Got the city on his mind and the truth on his tongue. He break it all down like he wrote it when it begun. You hear the knowledge, man, it's deeper than degrees. He got councilmen, judges, and mayors on their knees, asking for the wisdom that they can't obtain. Sherwin's brain got more range than a freight train. No script, just soul, intellect, and fire. He don't chase clout, he the one that known. Whole city lock in. Sherwin speak facts, let the real talk begin. Mind like a weapon, every
Welcome to hour 3 of The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes, whose mind has more range than a freight train. X was inquiring if I just created this song now. No, I did not. This was a contender to be my show intro song, but we chose, what's the one we play now? What's it called?
Airwaves.
Airwaves King. We chose that one. So this one, I thought this one was even too narcissistic for me. A little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, you should love yourself, right?
I do, but you don't want to brag. I can't brag because what I am trying to accomplish in getting more people, even if it's one person at a time, to better understand the interplay between community and public policy, and how when we participate, not just in voting, but going to town hall meetings and going to budget sessions, which politicians beg beg us to go to them. And they'll come on this show and we'll read their press releases. Hey, everybody, there's going to be a budget meeting. And nobody shows up to those. But then you see a lack of services or poor city services, or they're not shoveling the snow, they're not picking up your garbage, and the potholes aren't getting filled. And people are wondering, oh, where's our money being spent? You didn't go to the budget meeting. Because politicians don't want to make decisions in a vacuum. They want us to guide them on how they're going to spend the money. But we don't do it. And so they spend it in ways that don't always impact us in ways that we would expect. And we're wondering why the services are suffering, why the streets aren't getting paved and the snow is not getting picked up. They're begging for our input, but we don't show up to those because we think, oh, we'll leave it up to the politicians to figure out how to spend our money. The only thing a legislator does, basically, they do two things. They create the laws and the ordinances, and they figure out where tax money is going to get spent. But before they do that, for months, they'll hold listening sessions. And they used to just hold them at City Hall or at the county courthouse. They'll go to libraries. They'll go to other things and other places and spaces in the community. They make it so convenient. In some cases, you can literally walk to one of these budget listening sessions and they'll ask, hey, everybody, we're going to have X amount of dollars to spend on this category, on public works, on forestry, on where do you want us to spend the money? And nobody shows up. And then we wonder why they're making bad decisions. The strongest evidence supports it was, in fact, a real attack carried out by an alleged lone suspect, not a fabricated operation. There are, however, legitimate questions about, 1, security failures, 2, rapid narrative formation, meaning the manifesto was released almost immediately. That's not supposed to happen, FYI, because manifestos, the reason why a shooter committed the crime isn't released right away because it can trigger what we call copycat attacks. I mean, this is just rule number 1. When you have an incident, you have to have a real significant investigation, and releasing piecemeal bits of information while the investigation is ongoing is detrimental to the investigation. But for some reason, this manifesto, before it was even vetted for authenticity, was released to the public. I mean, hell, I have it. I shouldn't have the manifesto yet. I've got several copies of it, actually. Number 3, manifesto timing and authenticity and the chain of custody. Who got it first? Who is the person that received it first? Are they credible? Did they edit it? We don't know any of that stuff. Number 4, how a heavily armed suspect moved through one of the most protected venues, not just in Washington, D.C., but in the United States of America. Remember, the White House Correspondents' Dinners have been held at the Washington Hilton for 50 years. Keeping in mind, 45 years ago, damn near to the day, in March, the end of March 1981, there was an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan's life at the Washington Hilton. Since then, they have doubled and redoubled and increased security protocols at that particular hotel, not just because of the assassination attempt on Reagan, but because at the White House Correspondents' Dinners, which are held and have been held at the Washington Hilton for the last 50 years, has got like the entire presidential line of succession all in one room. Could you imagine if a bad foreign actor, like, a country that doesn't like us, or, maybe a country that we're at war with, knows that the upper echelons of the American federal government are all under one roof? Why would you have security that was so lax that a 31-year-old biracial dude could walk in with a handgun and shotgun and a bunch of knives and just walk in? And checked into the hotel with no problem whatsoever? When you were going to have the president, the vice president, the first lady, the second lady, the Speaker of the House, cabinet secretaries. So like the first 3, 4, 5 people that would be president if something happened to the president, the vice president, the Speaker of the House, and the cabinet secretaries were all in one room. That represents a security risk as high as the State of the Union. And I've seen what Secret Service protection is even when it's a presidential candidate, because I've worked on presidential campaigns where the Secret Service, by law, protects the Democratic or Republican nominee. So even before they are president, they get Secret Service protection. And it is nearly impossible to penetrate unless you've been vetted, your name is on a list. Like, you have to give your name, your date of birth and your social security number to the Secret Service if you are going to be anywhere even remotely close to one of those dignitaries under Secret Service protection. I work for a member of Congress, and I welcomed George W. Bush into the congressional district back in 2002 when, at the time, Congressman Tom Barrett was going to be out of the congressional district. So I was the designee to welcome President Bush. And President Bush, you know, regardless of how you feel about him, the fact that he did steal an election, which happens frequently now, he was a really nice guy. You know who else I met who was a very nice guy? Bill Clinton. Had the softest hands I ever shook.
I thought you were going to say Dick Cheney.
No, I never met Dick Cheney. I met, well, John Kerry didn't become president, so it was Jim Doyle, who was governor at the time, John Kerry, and myself. We did a town hall meeting at the YMCA on healthcare affordability in, good Lord, 2004? Yeah. Met John Kerry. He was weird. When we shook hands, he stood uncomfortably close to me for the photo op because he wanted to be and needed to be photographed with an African American. And it was a real awkward pause, and we just had to sit there I was shaking his hand, and then we stopped shaking. We just paused for probably 10 seconds, but it felt like a minute because he wanted all the photographs of him being very close to me. It was weird and awkward. I met Bill Clinton at a rally in 2006. He was here on behalf of Herb Kohl, who was running for re-election, Congresswoman Gwen Moore, and Governor Jim Doyle. I was on stage. That was really cool. Bill Clinton did so the people that were seated on stage behind him when he was speaking, he shook everybody's hand. Just a sweetheart of a fella. Hey, how are you? Hey, nice. What'd you say it was? Sherwin? Hey, glad to meet you. Glad you could be here. And then he whispered in my ear, Sherwin, Hillary's not here. Where the hoes at? I was like, Mr. Clinton.
Was that pre or post Monica Lewinsky?
Way post. Monica Lewinsky was 97. This was in 06.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, whatever. Bill
I didn't think he did anything wrong.
No, I don't think so. Oh, come on, you're president. That's a very stressful job. You need to release. You got to get the poison out, you know? And if the problem is Monica told Linda Tripp. Monica should have just, keep it a secret, you know? But she was young.
Well, you hear Laura Loomer's doing the same thing to President Trump, right?
Totally. Melania got to feel stupid. But I think Melania knew what she was getting into. There's no way that she didn't know. Donald Trump's life had been documented in the tabloids for the last 40 years. Melania was like, forget it. I'll give me an anchor, baby. I have Barron. I'm going to get this bread. I'm going to live that life. When was the last time we even saw the two of them kiss?
Never.
And you can say what you want about Melania. She's not unattractive.
Oh, you think she's attractive?
She's not unattractive.
I guess if I had a couple drinks, you know, it's me and her in the room, I guess, you know, we'll see what happens.
Would you hit the first lady? Would you crack the first lady, X? Would you crack her?
You know, thinking about it, well, put away the Epstein stuff. If she wasn't a part of that stuff.
She was.
Oh, yeah. Well, with that being known.
He hit first.
Yeah, I know. You know, if I had a couple drinks in me,
why? Hold on, man. Why you need alcohol for a good time to try and like relax your judgment?
Yeah,
you're stone sober. In fact, you know what? It's 8:00 in the morning on a Tuesday. She happens to show up here at the studio.
And yeah, I don't know. What does her body look like? It's looking good.
You can see it on the internet.
Oh,
she's the only first lady who appears nude. You can research her body on the internet, and all of her glory is out there. But I don't know if those are older pictures, though.
I'll do some research.
Okay. Well, while you're doing your research, I think I need to talk to someone who probably has already done that kind of research. Hello, Al. Good morning. How are you?
No, I'm doing good. First of all, first thing I want to say, because I heard you bring this up, if a black woman is dating a white man, if you're dating a white man, you should not be dating anything mediocre. And if you're dating a white man, you should be in a house that's 4,000 square feet, in a gated community with cathedral ceilings and an Olympic-sized pool. If you're dating a white man just to date one and you're still getting kibbles and bits, you ain't struck home run yet. That's a bottom feeder. Moving forward, what I was going to say, I heard you bring up, pretty and all that. It depends on how he or she use their pretty. See, pretty means absolutely nothing. It's just like a man. It's like a man with a leg that's big as a school bus, but he's always homeless. It is all about mental penetration and visual stimulation. Because what you're doing is you're marinating the mental and you're marinating the visual. And when it turns physical, then you become an addiction, the need, the want, the desires that hit euphoric situations. Because you took your time to finesse it. You took your time to marinate it, like you let a steak sit overnight or you brine a turkey. You will never be without. So when you do that, you're not worried about pretty, because now you have penetrated the mental so good and you have penetrated the visual stimulation. Now their body is set to be relaxed and a certain euphoric. It's like good dope. Now you are hit. You're hooked because the dope is so good, and now it got your nose open so wide. So you can be very, very pretty, but be absolutely nothing. You can be bow-legged and pigeon-toed with water in your ankles. But if you know how to finesse the situation and you know how to marinate it, there will be many spots in the mattress. And if Monica Lewinsky was real good, she would have let nothing drop on the dress. Because not only you suck, you taste. At the end, you always swallow, because you leave no evidence behind. That's why the best abortion is by mouth, and you get absolutely no stretch marks. Now, I want all you to have yourself a good day, and stop pulling out too early, and make sure when you go hard, you get those spots, all the spots, and every several positions. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Now we have a reading of scripture from John, Luke, Paul III. Ask not what the Lord cometh down from... The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
What up, Truth Nation? It's Kyle Wallace, and what a week it has been. I shared my story of racial discrimination at the McKinley Marina full-service gas dock, where I was denied service only to watch a white customer get helped immediately after me. But guess what? Part 2 gets even worse. What would you do if someone told you, I didn't call you the N-word, I called you a black fella? I'm going to talk about exactly that and how we responded and why Milwaukee County leadership allowed this to continue. Tune in to Truth to Power this Monday from 12 to 1 on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth as I share part 2.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with two. It's buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land a perfect two-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. Second floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
The baked potato just became the main event. At Loaded Spud, we take comfort food and turn it into something bold. Fresh baked potatoes piled high with creative toppings like buffalo chicken, steak and cheese, and classic loaded favorites, all made fresh and built to satisfy. Big flavor, generous portions, no shortcuts. It's fast, affordable, and proudly local. Loaded Spud, Milwaukee's most unexpected comfort food. Stop in today at 789 North Water Street or visit online at www.letsgetloaded.online.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Whole city lock in. Sherwin speak facts, let the real talk begin. Mind like a weapon, every word cut clean. Your host, favorite host, the mic God supreme. No one match the brain, no one match the vibe. Milwaukee truth teller, yeah, we feel that pride. When the people need sense, he the one they call. Sherwin Hughes on the line, that's power, y'all.
On Friday, make sure you tune in to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes because we are giving away $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices and the award-winning 1017 The Truth for the last few months. We have been entering individuals into the contest to win the $5,000, and on Friday, we're going to be pulling names. Here's how it works. We're going to call you live on the air. If you do not answer the call, we're not leaving a message. We're not letting you call us back. Don't text us with a who dis. You have to answer our one call, that's all. For the person that does answer, they will be awarded $5,000. Looking forward to giving that away. I love hearing what our winners do with the money. When Reggie won, he said, I'm renting a car and driving to Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, yeah? Reggie, what are you going to do when you get there? Turn around and come right back. One lady said she was going to use the $5,000 as a down payment on a pickup truck. And guess what she did? Not only did she get her pickup truck, she called my colleague, Dr. Ken Harris, during his show from the very pickup truck that she purchased with our $5,000. So I just love having the privilege and the opportunity, not just to talk to you all every day, because you guys are fantastic, but to make you $5,000 richer. Now, I know some of you are going to use the money on strippers and cocaine, but guess what? You can. It's your money. No one can tell you how to spend your money. So this Friday, I'm not sure what time. We usually do it. Well, I'm not going to tell you when to listen to the whole damn show, because if we decide to start the show by giving away the $5,000, well, you better be paying attention. I want to go through a couple of the just very unusual security lapses that existed at a venue, the Washington Hilton, which has hosted the White House Correspondents' Center for the last 50 years. And they have experience in what we call dignitary protection because in 1981, Ronald Reagan had an attempt made on his life by a guy named John Hinckley Jr., and since then, the security protocols, whenever the president is in or near the Washington Hilton, have been beefed up and fortified. I think earlier in the program, did I go through? Yeah, the checkpoint. So secrets are, and this is all public information. Why it's public, I don't know, but it is. Because I think they want the world to know how strict and stringent the security protocols are when it comes to protecting the president. But for some reason, Most of these protocols were completely overlooked, if not eliminated. So if the president, the vice president, and numerous cabinet secretaries are in attendance, this is anywhere, let alone at the Washington Hilton, where the security there is even more robust because there was a previous presidential assassination attempt there 45 years ago. They have a multi-block outer perimeter, total credential control. They know every single person who is in that hotel, every single guest, etc. They have layered screening checkpoints, locked elevators and stairwells. In fact, there is an elevator that is only for use by the President of the United States, meaning no one else can use that elevator, and the President himself does not use any other elevator. All of these things were forsaken on Saturday for some reason. We don't know why. Number 6, separate evacuation plans for each person. Didn't know that. The president leaves out of one direction. The vice president goes another. The first lady goes this way. The second lady goes this way. Erica Kirk is flown out. Personally, they have a separate evacuation plan for her. Poor Erica Kirk. She attended a VIP cocktail event prior to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and she was with a fella by the name of Lawrence Jones. Some of you may know Mr. Jones for his position with Fox News. He is an anchor. He's very strapping. He's a handsome fellow. Big buck.
They look good together.
They do look good together.
Probably make some good-looking babies.
Like, I would, if given the opportunity, if somebody was like, hey, Sherwin, if you look through this peephole, you'll be able to see Lawrence Jones and Erica Kirk. You want to take a look? Well, yeah, I'll peek at that.
Oh, look at them doing the business?
I wouldn't stay for long, but I want to see what that technique is. You know what I mean? You can always learn different techniques. Number 7, hidden tactical teams would be stationed all throughout the Washington Hilton. Number 8, counter sniper airspace defense, medical trauma capability. And number 10, the continuity of government contingency planning. All of these things would be in place when you have all of these dignitaries under one roof. But for some reason, all of those protocols were, I guess, overlooked. It also should be noted that Russia has been known to use assassination attempts to improve the poll numbers of poorly performing candidates, especially candidates who would be sympathetic to Vladimir Putin. And there's a whole bunch of examples that exist to show that this is something out of the Russian playbook. And again, I am not saying that the United States of America is copying something that Russia has been known to do since the days of the Cold War. I just know that there are far too many similarities and connections and too much fawning over Vladimir Putin from Donald Trump. So adopting a political philosophy used by the KGB, which Vladimir Putin used to be a part of, adopting some of those philosophies here in the United States that's not as weird as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Not nearly as weird as it may get. 24 to 48 hours before the event, there would be a full site lockdown. The entire hotel would receive bomb dog sweeps, HVAC and mechanical room inspections, roof access control, parking garage inspection, sewer and loading dock checks, ballroom, wall cavity, and backstage sweeps. Elevator, machine rooms would all be inspected. The cyber sweep would include Wi-Fi anomalies, rogue devices, suspicious hotel network traffic, camera system integrity. Other security perimeters several blocks away would include street grid, road closures, anti-ram barriers, dump trucks and heavy vehicles, snipers and observers overwatch, traffic diversion and protest zones separated by standoff distance, vehicle control, only credentialed motorcade, only media trucks that were pre-cleared and searched, only emergency vehicles, and only White House staff shuttles. Anything else would be denied or searched. Middle perimeter. All these things were violated on Saturday. Entry control points. Every human being entering the grounds would have to show a photo ID, a credential scan, a magnetometer they'd have to go through. Their bags would be x-rayed, and they would be patted down secondarily if the screening was flagged. This is even for hotel guests. Separate lanes for the president's party, separate lanes for the vice president's party, separate travel lanes for the cabinet secretaries, the press, and staff. Hotel guests likely relocated or heavily restricted. No casual hotel guest movement would be allowed anywhere near the event. Inner perimeter inside the hotel, elevator control. Most elevators would be locked or reassigned. Specific elevators would be presidents only, VIP movement only, staff and service only. Stairwells, they would install alarms. They would post guards on every single level of the stairwell of the Washington Hilton Hotel. For some reason, there were no guards. And they would lock directional movement. Rooms overlooking the motorcade lanes or ballroom approaches would be emptied, searched, sealed, and staffed by members of the Secret Service. I had another. Where's my other thing? Here we go. Cole Thomas Allen, age 31, was identified by federal law enforcement sources as the alleged gunman at Saturday night's White House Correspondents Association dinner. Allen has ties to the city of Torrance, California. He allegedly traveled from L.A. and Chicago to Washington, D.C. by train and checked into the hotel where the event was being held. In a manifesto, Allen called himself, quote, a friendly federal assassin, and that he was targeting Trump administration officials, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest, according to the report. Allen allegedly shared the manifesto with his brother, who reportedly flagged the document to local law enforcement in Connecticut after Saturday's gala in D.C. The Los Angeles Times reporters at the event recount the scene of chaos inside the Washington Hilton. The shooting raises significant questions about the security at the hotel where the press gala took place. In his alleged manifesto, Allen reportedly wrote that security at the hotel was notably lax. He sent his manifesto exactly 12 minutes before the shot was fired. Trump appeared on 60 Minutes with the correspondent Norah O'Donnell saying, quote, he wasn't worried at all during the shooting. The interview took a turn when O'Donnell referenced the manifesto, with Trump calling her a disgrace for reading a quote aloud on the air. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, does it matter that Erica Kirk, 6 months after the assassination of her husband, was with a date, a guy named Lawrence Jones III? Meaning there's two other Lawrence Joneses at some point. She went with him to a VIP cocktail reception prior to the White House Correspondents' dinner. And I posted a picture of them. Everybody's saying, oh, Sherwin, that's an AI picture. No, the backdrop is like a, you know how like when people take selfies, there'll be like a backdrop. It appears that, so the backdrop is the White House. They clearly weren't at the White House, but people would say, oh, the backdrop is fake. Whenever you go to events where people are going to be photographed together, sometimes they'll have a makeshift backdrop that'll show a scene of something picturesque. So for everybody saying, oh, the photo is AI, no, it's not. It's just the backdrop just looks kind of weird. But Erica Kirk was with an African-American man, Lawrence Jones III, who's a Fox News commentator. He's a very handsome fella. And people were saying, oh, no, Sherwin, Lawrence Jones is married. No, not anymore. So we're going to post the picture if you haven't seen it. I posted the picture on Threads, and I just checked just a couple of minutes ago. 123,000 views. I can't even tell you how many reposts it has. But it went absolutely viral because the MAGA faithful are a little bit concerned that their precious angel, the exalted one, Erica Kirk, might be dipping on the dark side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkmylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by our friends over at Visit Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals and plates are piled high with flavor, and lakefront sunrises set the stage for unforgettable days. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring. It's a place that welcomes you with open arms, where joy is shared through bites, beats, and cheers for our favorite sports teams. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. You know who else should visit Milwaukee? Erica Kirk. I'd love to interview her.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Melania. You know, after seeing those pictures, I think she's my favorite first lady.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just to answer your question.
Question answered. Because you're not supposed to objectify women, because that's not nice. But women are not getting mad that we're not objectifying them anymore, so ladies, make your minds up. But you're not supposed to look at the first lady as an object of desire. That's not nice of you to do. But if the shoe fits, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean? She was taking those pictures. I mean, I think
Which pictures did you see? Did you see the picture where she was naked?
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm a fan now.
I hope you didn't use a work computer.
Oh, no. I was using my phone.
Well, even though technically that's research.
Yeah, it's research. I was doing good research, and I mean, I like what I saw.
Apparently, Erica Kirk likes what she sees as well. Why are people so bent out of shape that conservative Caucasian women sometimes fancy a black man?
I'm surprised they're surprised by that.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. All of this it's make-believe. The whole MAGA thing, the whole movement, it was a grift. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. It was to take advantage of people who have been left behind by the changing American economy. A deconstructed, deindustrialized American economy that does not have its interest in protecting American workers. It's about shipping jobs overseas, having the cheapest possible products so that people that sell those products to American consumers can make the most profit. Then they take those profits and they fold them into political action committees, and they buy our elections and they buy our politicians. I do truly believe that there is a large growing segment of people in this population who are they're lost. They're lost. They don't know what to do. The opportunities are not nearly as robust as they used to be. A college degree in some cases is not worth the paper that it's printed on. There's a real possibility of job loss from artificial intelligence, but they don't want you to know and understand that. They'd rather you blame illegals and Mexicans. And so you will get behind removing people from the country. In a lot of cases, those people that are being removed from the country have just as much right to be here as the people that are actually removing them. But they want you to believe that it's those people that are taking your jobs. No, they're not. They're here doing the kind of work that most Americans don't want to do. They're here doing the kind of very labor-intensive, low-wage service sector jobs that keep the American economy running. But they don't want you to focus on what's really going on. They are robbing you blind. Inflation is going up. Prices are unaffordable. Gas is going through the roof. The man even lied about not just his participation with Jeffrey Epstein, but lied about America first. We're back in a foreign war. The entire thing was a grift. It was all a facade. He's a marketing genius. You can't say that he isn't. He's such a marketing genius that even when his business endeavors went bankrupt, whether they be casinos or hotels, the banks that took those properties in receivership still kept Trump's name on them. If he could grift and if he could make money and if he could have a NFC and cryptocurrency involvements to make more money off the presidency and save himself from going to prison forever, then he would do it. He's taking advantage of individuals who are vulnerable, who feel left behind, particularly white men who were told that this country was theirs. They wouldn't have any competition from anybody. Now the white men are feeling the pinch of being mediocre. Because if there's no competition, because you don't have to hire the woman, you don't have to hire the Mexican, you don't have to hire the black person, of course white men could reign supreme in this country. But once you make it so that everybody's got to be competitive, and white men are just not automatically given those advantages, they feel the pain and the sting. And what are they doing? They're dying from deaths of despair, drug overdoses, alcoholism, and suicide. And Donald Trump took advantage of that and sold them red hats and told them that their problems are located with people like myself or someone who speaks a little bit of Spanish. So Erica Kirk going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner with Lawrence Jones III is just a part of the grift. They promote racism because lower levels of thinkers believe it. They believe that black people are actually inferior. And when they see, is the photo up? Yeah, Lita, yeah, put the photo up so people can see. That's a beautiful couple, actually.
I know, right?
But for the comments that were left on, because I posted this photo on Threads, they said, Sherwin, Erica Kirk would never be seen with a black man. You clearly do not understand the motivations of women. And if Erica Kirk and her late husband are a part of the grift of taking advantage of people, especially using their Christianity as a lead to galvanize and to dupe more Christians in this country, then that's exactly what they're going to do. And here's the thing. You know you're being lied to. It's like you know your spouse is cheating. You just don't want to admit it. You know something is wrong. You know something is foul. Something is leaving a bad taste in your mouth. That your sixth sense is telling you something. Y'all know that MAGA was fake. You know it was. He's not exhibiting any kind of America First policies. And the crazy thing about it was QAnon was right. And they were nuts. I mean, I've seen crazy in my life, but I've never seen nothing about QAnon, but they were actually right. There is a pedophile ring in American politics. The only thing the QAnon got wrong is they had the wrong party. It's the Republicans.
Well, you know Steve Bannon started that, right?
QAnon, if I'm over here agreeing with Q, then you know everything is out of whack. And so some people are like, oh, Sherwin, Erica Kirk would never. Yes, she would. People rebel, and if you are playing a role, and everybody knows how to play a role, sometimes when you guys go to work, and you put on a fake smile and you pretend that you love your coworkers and pretend that everything is fine. You know that you're acting, but you do what you got to do to get your paycheck. And you will act. You will pretend. You will make believe so that you can get through the day. And what it does, it takes a toll on you, doesn't it? After a while, rather. And then you want to rebel. That's why you go out on the weekends and Get drunk and show your breasts. And when I say show your breasts, I mean men too. Erica Kirk knows this is a facade that these people are for manipulating, not to be taken seriously, because at the very least, why would we involve ourselves in a foreign war in which we have no way out of it? We just spent 20 years, and I can't tell you how many trillions of dollars of your money on wars in Iraq and Afghanistan where we accomplished essentially nothing. The Taliban is back in power. Iraq is not exactly an American ally like we thought they would be. 20 years of nothing, and Donald Trump puts us right back in there. That in and of itself should at least raise the specter of curiosity from some of the Donald Trump faithful. But like now, they're so bought in that they cannot admit that they were wrong. I think at this point in time, it is the biggest problem that I have with people, because it's like this old school political sentiment that we used to accuse elected officials or candidates for office of waffling if they ever change their mind. We want elected officials to be able to change their mind. We want policymakers and legislators, when presented with new information, to go in a different direction, because that means that they're learning. They're learning and they're growing, and they are creating a policy platform that is reflective of the most recent up-to-date information, because that is what we want our laws and our rules to be based off on. But there's a whole sentiment that exists that, well, if I was with Trump in the beginning, I got to stay with him now, no matter how much he lies to my face. Donald Trump is literally telling you the gas prices aren't what they are. And who you going to believe, him or your eyes or your pocketbook? Because I know one thing that's always going to tell me the truth, and it ain't a woman. It's my wallet. My wallet ain't ever lied to me one time. You ever go out and you have a good time? You know those nights where you don't care? Drinks is flowing, music is good. Oh, you kicking it. You having a good old time. You see people you ain't seen in a long time. Drinks on me. I got your drink. I'll get another round. Put it on my tab. And you just having a good time. And then you wake up in the morning full of regret, wearing somebody else's clothes, don't know where your underwear are. And you check that bank balance and you gasp, or you look in your wallet. You ever look in your wallet and you've spent so much money you swear you lost $100? It's like, oh, no, I dropped some money somewhere. No, I didn't spend that much. Your wallet ain't never going to lie to you. That's the only thing that's going to be honest. If Americans can't afford their groceries and can't afford their utilities, and our taxes are going up, our sales taxes are going up, and our property taxes are going up, and wages are not showing that kind of an increase, why are you lying to the American people? But all you got to do is just distract us with a war, distract us with a fake assassination attempt. Oops, did I say fake assassination attempt? I'm sorry. Come on, guys. That's the most secure building on the planet when they have a White House Correspondents' Dinner. The whole top echelon of the American federal government is under one roof. And you mean to tell me just a dude can walk in with, I think I have a list of all the stuff he had. A pistol, a shotgun, and a knife. And was able to pierce a security perimeter and was like one room away from the ballroom? Come on. No. I said all that to say this. I wish Erica Kirk well in her new interracial relationship, and I hope that they're very happy, and I hope that Charlie Kirk's kids end up getting a black stepdaddy. Whoa. What, you got a problem with that? What's wrong with that? Don't be a racist. He could be a very good stepdaddy to Charlie Kirk's babies. I know this much. They don't got no stepdaddy now. Before you guys start poo-pooing stepdaddies, a lot of y'all were raised by wonderful stepfathers. Just give the guy a chance. And they do look very good together. Erica Kirk and Lawrence Jones III. Meaning there's two other Lawrence Joneses that are out there. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I travel all around the world, Dr. Ken, and when I tell you, based on my experiences, This is like the number one country that cares. Like everything is about money. Everything.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I've told people in the past, you have to be careful of what you complain about and what you use as a tool because other people will take it and use it in the wrong way.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
Hi, I'm Eric Zauner, Marine Corps veteran and board member for the Center for Veterans Issues, calling on the community to tee it up for a great cause. On Monday, June 15th, CVI is hosting its 5th annual golf outing at the River Club in Mequon. This year's event is supporting CVI's permanent supportive housing program, dedicated to assisting chronically homeless or disabled veterans and their families. Grab your clubs and support our veterans today. Register to golf, sponsor, or donate at cvivet.org/events.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
How do I say this name? Donaldo? Donaldo. I swear I know how to read. Whatever. They said he was able to get past the perimeter security because he was a guest. Wrong. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, guests are not permitted in certain areas of the hotel. Guests can't roam freely when the president, the vice president, the first lady, the second lady, the speaker of the House, and cabinet secretaries are in tow. Of course not. I just read the whole damn security protocol. Guests cannot move. This was not just like a lapse. There were levels upon levels upon levels of security failures that were so overt that it had to have been intentional, because remember, there was a presidential assassination attempt at this exact same hotel against Ronald Reagan in 1981. Secret Service and dignitary protection has learned an awful lot since then. And when they have the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which the Washington Hilton has been hosting for the last 50 years, they know how to protect the dignitaries. So you can't just, okay, I tell you what. You guys remember the RNC? Some of y'all couldn't even get downtown. The president was only here one day during the RNC. And that was not like State of the Union level, White House Correspondents' Dinner level security. And they locked down like 2 square miles of downtown where you could not, even if you wanted to, The security was so strict that even, a mile outside the perimeter, Ohio cops shot and killed an African-American man. Because, we talked about that story. Y'all got mad about that one, but I explained it. The Ohio cops that shot the man they shot should have. There's another comment I wanted to read about somebody said something about why Lawrence would want to date Erica Kirk. Why wouldn't he? First of all, we don't know if they're dating. They might just be having sex. We don't know if they're dating. We don't know if they're in a relationship. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this really derogatory term that angry, jealous, insecure white men hurl at white women that go with black men. They call them mud sharks. It probably is the most destructive term to a Caucasian woman's reputation. She will be excommunicated from her community. Her opportunities will be diminished, and she will be looked at as tainted for the rest of her natural life. Erica Kirk knows that, and she doesn't care because the people that follow her and her late husband, they've been in on the grift for so long that she doesn't care. This is the thing that I know about people that have tremendous amounts of power and influence. They don't care what underlings think. They don't care. I also learned that really rich people don't wear Rolex watches. A Rolex watch is for the new money that is insecure. It's like wearing a price tag, they say, because a Rolex, everybody knows how much it costs. Rich people will wear like a watch because it tells time, number one, or a watch that like belonged to a World War II veteran during Iwo Jima, or they'll wear like a watch their grandfather gave them. Because I used to think that watches were a way to assume somebody's wealth. Yes and no, but Rolexes, I come to find out, are not it. Or if the wealthy wear a watch, it'll be like an Audemars, which is a $100,000 to $300,000, $400,000 watch that most people, when they see a real Audemars, don't even recognize what it is. Those are the kind of watches that rich people wear because they don't care what. They don't have to show off their status. I don't think that Erica Kirk cares because the people that would engage in her reputation destruction have probably already been indoctrinated. And I think what the MAGA movement showed is that regardless of how you treat people, and you can take advantage of people's vulnerability and you can lie to them and you can gaslight them into oblivion, they still won't leave because they refuse to change their mind once they've made a decision. Like these MAGA people are getting like tattoos. I wish somebody would get my name tattooed on them. That'd be cool. But would I feel some kind of obligation to that person? A woman. I don't want a dude coming up to me. Hi, Sherwin, look at this. And he takes his shirt off and he's got Sherwin across his chest. I would have to walk away at that point.
You wouldn't be flattered?
No, I would not. But if a woman did the same thing, I think I would be. Just get a little small Sherwin, like on your ankle or like on a shoulder blade. You know what I mean?
Not the butt cheek?
I know a girl that's got a guy's name tattooed on her butt. Well, she feel bad for her. She said, "Oh, I thought we were going to be together forever." I was like, "Clearly, no, you're not."
A small one?
No. I mean, it's not huge, but it's legible from a distance, and I feel real bad for her. Well, she made a dumb decision, but she can't wear certain kinds of bathing suits. Like, she's got to wear full coverage bottoms, which look kind of granny-ish. Because, the swimsuit has gotten smaller over the years, you see. She can't wear a small one because when she goes to the beach, everybody be like, "Jose? Is that Jose's woman?" And his name is Jose, so I told her she needs to be careful because she might get deported because Jose's name is on her butt cheek. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.